What if I told you that this weekend you can explore forests, see breathtaking vistas, and camp with nobody around for miles? Oh, and you can use the vehicle and gear you already have. Keep watching, and I'll tell you how. Overlanding. You've watched the videos of beautiful remote destinations and dreamed of conquering rugged terrain to see these places with your own eyes. You hesitate though, as it all seems so complicated, expensive, and far away. Where could you go that doesn't use up all your vacation time? Even the North American locations like British Columbia or Baja you've seen popular channels wheel are far away. And if such a trip was a priority for your vacation, it seems like everyone on YouTube has a lifted 4x4 with a rooftop tent and a lot of expensive gear, and you're not sure your rig is up to the task. I'm here to tell you it's way more attainable than you think, and you can be exploring tomorrow if you want. Let's break it down. I think there are more definitions of overlanding than grains of sand at Cape Lookout. When I say overlanding, I mean vehicle-supported adventure. You carry your essentials with you, primarily water and food, for many of us shelter too, but you can stay at some sort of lodging and still be overlanding in my book. Overlanding also involves an overland journey and implies adventure. So let's talk about the basics for each of these things. 1, a destination to journey to with adventure along the way. 2, a vehicle for the journey. And 3, the necessities, shelter, water, and food. Let's talk about journeys and destinations. I'm going to make a distinction between overlanding and base camping here. For the purposes of this video, I'm talking about being in a different place each night and adventuring along the way. There's no reason why you can't establish a camp and adventure out from there, but I wanted to highlight that you can still do, quote, real overlanding, unquote, where you move every day without even leaving the state. Pennsylvania is about 60% forested with 20 state forests covering millions of acres. Most residents are a 30 to 60 minute drive from a state forest and the adventure opportunities they provide. I decided to take this trip on a Tuesday evening and left Friday afternoon. The plan was to start in Tuscarora State Forest and camp there Friday night. So this is Dispersed Motorized Camping Site 82 in Tuscarora State Forest. I booked this on Tuesday night for Friday. It's a pretty good site in the forest. There were multiple similar sites available. So even with this being a little bit of a pick up and go kind of decision with not a lot of advance notice, I was still able to get a nice site here in one of the state forests and use this as the starting point for my journey this weekend. Saturday I met some friends and we drove trails in Rothrock State Forest before parting ways. I covered more than 200 miles and passed through 4 distinct forests on Saturday alone before camping in Elk State Forest that night for more exploring Sunday in Sproul State Forest. Alright, so this is my camp for Saturday night. It's now Sunday morning. But another nice site in a different state forest. I'm up in Elk State Forest. This is Site 53 on Ridge Road. It's about 90 miles as the crow flies north of where I was Friday night in Tuscarora. And took a while to, get up here, but this was sort of a true overlanding kind of weekend. I started in one forest. I'm camping another night in another forest. In Pennsylvania, you reserve dispersed motorized sites in the state forests, as well as campgrounds in state parks on Reserve America. It's $10 per night plus a $6.50 fee to cover the service from Reserve America. That's a bargain, and the money it raises helps fund campsite improvements. I prefer the state forest dispersed motorized sites, as you're usually hundreds of yards from your nearest camping neighbor. Be aware that there are no services at these sites.
Usually there's only a picnic table and a fire pit, but some may have tent pads and/or lantern hooks as well. If you want or need more facilities, a state park campground may be more your speed, but your neighbors will be significantly closer and there's generally more noise and activity.
One of the attractions of the site's up here. It's a nice morning. Hiked about 700 feet south of my campsite. It's not called Ridge Road for nothing, because it's got a view like this. Now that's worth waking up to. So I'm standing here at the intersection of Ridge Road and Whitehead Road in Elk State Forest. Just happens to be where I'm camping. And I wanted to make the point that you can basically use whatever vehicle you've got in your garage to start overlanding. You don't need to have a high clearance 4x4 for 90% of what you want access to when somebody says overlanding. This is predominantly applicable to the mid-Atlantic. There may be places out west where, that's not the case. But state forests in Pennsylvania and a lot of the surrounding areas, you've got gravel roads like this, which pretty much any vehicle can traverse. And that's going to be 90% of the roads in these state forests that are going to give you access to beautiful vistas, to camping spots, to places to just drive around and enjoy nature, kayak or canoe. If you're into horseback riding, you're pulling a horse trailer, mountain biking, hiking. It's all this stuff here. So don't think you've got to go out and buy some new vehicle to get started. This is what 90% of it is going to be like, and anything that's different, like here in Pennsylvania, where it is suggested that you have a high clearance 4x4 vehicle, is going to be marked as such on DCNR maps, on Purple Lizard maps, and at trailheads or intersections. So you can feel comfortable coming out here with your Toyota Camry, whatever you may have, and know that you're going to be able to get to your camp and that you're going to be able to get around and see some vistas, have some adventures, and enjoy some outdoor recreation.
Lastly, let's talk about what you need to have with you. Shelter is your first priority, and this can be as simple as sleeping in your vehicle or bringing a ground tent. You don't need to have a trailer, camper, or rooftop tent, but those are obviously nice options if you've already made that investment. Understand the weather forecast and bring sleeping bags, blankets, extra layers, etc. as necessary. If you're planning on a campfire, first be sure there are no burn bans by checking the forest or park advisories. You can generally source bundles of wood at local stores and roadside stands. Don't bring wood from far away as it can have invasive insects. Check the local forest regulations, but you can generally use wood that's already fallen from trees. Water can be brought in containers you fill at home or purchased. I've been getting several 1-gallon bottles lately versus carrying a 5 to 7-gallon container, as they are a bit easier to store. Just be sure you have enough for the size of your group and the period you plan to be out, or until the next time you can reprovision. Have a bit extra in case you have some emergency. Food options can range from freeze-dried camp meals that only require water and a source of heat, to coolers and a portable grill or cooking over the campfire. A vehicle refrigerator isn't necessary, though it's nice. Those are the basics. Here are some other considerations. Let somebody know your itinerary, including your planned stops and when you expect to be back home. A phone with emergency satellite messaging is a great idea, assuming you don't have a dedicated satellite communicator for when there is no cellular coverage available. Go to your mobile carrier's website and check the areas you'll be in for cellular coverage and plan accordingly. Consider a cheap portable radio that gets the NOAA weather broadcasts to keep track of changing conditions, especially if you won't have cellular coverage. Recovery gear like traction boards or a winch should not be needed on normal forest roads unless it's winter or there is severe weather, and that requires another level of preparation beyond the scope of this video. I'll add navigation to the list of necessities. Good paper maps of the forest you'll be exploring are what you want. If a purple lizard map is available for the area, get it. If not, in Pennsylvania, get the Department of Conservation and Natural Resources public use map from the DCNR website. Consider an unpaved navigation app like OnX Off-Road or Gaia GPS. Even if Apple, Google, or Waze show the roads in the forest, they won't want to route you on them. If relying on any app, be sure to download the offline maps for the area you'll be in so that you can still use it when there's no cell signal. That's it in a nutshell. I'll link to the resources I mentioned in the comments. So, where are you going to overland this weekend? Let me know in the comments, and before you venture out, like this video and share it with one person who needs to take an overland adventure. I'll see you out in the forest.